We have a car behind us to talk about. In the middle of the craziness, our 911 ST got delivered, and there it is. So, Zuckerman, what do you think?
I love this car.
The show before the show. You know, we'll never have a Patreon because I don't believe in charging the listeners for any of it, but certainly not for the before show or to ask questions or any of that crap. But it's always a good little show before the show starts here at Spike's Car Radio.
Do we want to review the show before the show?
No, we don't. Of course not.
We could leave him with the tantalizing Zuckerman. Next time, do all the races.
I think.
I attack my own.
I think they have a pretty good idea of what's going on before the show.
Do they?
I think they do.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they do, don't you?
Imagine this. Imagine this.
He's on a roll.
There's every generation's 25 years. So there's four generations in a century. We go back 20 centuries to the time of Christ. That's 80 Zuckermans ago, 80 Liebermans ago, 80 Pharisees ago. And we're sitting around our huts in the land of Canaan. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I'd like to talk about this guy who rescued his ST. That's what I'd like to talk about.
I want to talk about what we'd be joking about 80 Zuckermans ago.
I'd be joking about when is this going to stop so I can start the cave cast or whatever we're doing. That's what I would be saying.
Hey, did you see those Babylonians over there?
I'd be saying, look, we have it.
Look at those stupid Babylonians.
The Pharisees can't drive.
Pharisees.
Welcome to Spike's
speaking in tongues.
Car Radio. Okay, thank you. We're here doing a show. We're having a good time already.
Look at Larry.
Larry's from Porsche Clearwater. He's here because we have our new ST here. There's a lot going on. Jerry's Porsche 917 is going up in Kissimmee, Florida, of all places, at Mecum. Any minute, we might be able to dial in right here. I think it's lot 237. I think we're only on what? Lot 150 right now, Cameron?
146 right now.
146.
What's your piece of the action? You get a little piece, right?
I don't believe so. No, that's not my car. I helped him find it early on, but there's no obligation there.
How about we assign your rights should they exist to me?
To me. I need it. You don't need
Can we
it.
do an assignment of rights?
So you suspect that he may surprise me with some sort of...
No, I don't suspect.
Honorarium.
No, he would not surprise you with that. But
He
I
shouldn't.
want the legal right to it, just not a piece of paper.
No.
Okay.
I can't do that because Jerry's a very generous guy.
I know.
And you never know. But look, I mean, you know.
It's just to the extent if there was a right. To the extent there was a right.
You know, Adam Carolla does that bit about him and Jimmy Kimmel, like how much money he made, and then he met Jimmy Kimmel and how much money he made. Like he looks at his Social Security. It's kind of the same situation with me and Jerry.
Well, you weren't living in your Datsun.
No, I was not. I was doing okay, but I was not doing Seinfeld okay.
Yeah, but you weren't doing Corolla bad.
No,
Yeah, I weren't like an unemployed roofer or whatever.
I could. No, I was an unemployed comedy writer for like 30 days.
And now you're near us.
And now look what's happened.
Now look what happened.
But that was almost 40 years ago,
Yes, that's what I'm
Zuckerman.
saying.
If you would ask me back then, how long will my career in show business be? I would say another year or maybe another month or a year. Like a 2-year window. I never thought I would get this far.
Could you start the show?
I think the show's... I'm looking at the countdown
We're
clock.
5 minutes into this.
We're 5 minutes
We
in.
got from 80 Liebermans ago in the land of Canaan. Yeah.
But I have so much to talk about. There's still so much to talk about here. We're still... I don't think you guys even know this. I just moved back to my house an hour ago. I just got back. I've been staying in your place, Zuckerman. And thank you again. I want to thank you publicly. You're a very generous guy. I've watched you do help a lot of folks, not just me. And it's really sweet to see that side of you, Zuckerman. He's a very, very good man and been helping a lot of folks
that's how
any way he can.
I always describe him as if, the most intelligent, generous person you know is also the most vile. That's
him.
Zuckerman. Yeah,
That's Zuckerman. I'll take that.
And I came right down to do this show. I'm not even unpacked. I still have National Guard in my neighborhood. And
how's your place?
place is fine.
No smoke.
It's covered with ash.
How does it smell?
It smells all right.
Really?
Yeah. It's not so bad.
I was just asking our friend. The house 2 houses away from her house, burnt down. So her place just smells disgusting.
Yeah, lots
It's
of
awful.
houses there.
It's fine. It didn't get touched miraculously. But
Yeah,
it just
lots of houses.
stinks.
I've heard that story over and over again. I have a friend whose house was saved and everything in the block is gone, but his house still has to be torn down because of smoke damage, toxin damage.
When my house burned in 2018, we had a 2018 Carrera-esque Cabriolet parked in the driveway, which did not burn, but forever thereafter smelled like cigarettes. It smelled so
Like cigarettes,
bad.
not like a woody fire?
No, we got that smell out, but it smelled like a heavy smoker. Whoever bought that, whoever got that car after must have got in and said, "Wow, somebody smoked a lot in this car."
That's the one thing in a car, you can kind of get rid of water damage if you replace all the fabric, but smoke gets into the glue and you'll never get rid of it.
Well, this is good that we're talking about this because I have some things I want to show you guys. Take a look at this clip. This is a gentleman going back to his house. He has a choice of 2 cars. His Tesla looks like a Model Y.
It's a Y, yeah.
Or this other car.
There was a great stance.
But
that
check this
ready
out.
stance.
Look at this. That's his friend there helping him get the Tesla out of the way because we're saving the 911 ST.
I like how that guy ran backwards and forwards,
There it is.
Three Stooges style.
There he goes. He had already evacuated. There he goes, and he's rescuing his ST. Now this video went viral, and then they're out of there because the fire is right behind that truck. It's right behind the truck. So this I reposted in my story, and right away, a friend of mine who I play tennis with said, I know that guy. Do you want to talk to him? I said, absolutely. What's his name? He goes, he lives in the Palisades. He evac'd out to Sydney, Australia, where he lives. He's Australian.
Okay.
And he knows you. And that I don't ever know what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Variety of things.
It could be, he calls you Ellen every week.
So I got him on the phone last night, and he told me the whole story of the ST. I wanted to know because, you might look at this video and go, what the Porsche guy taking his car and not taking care of it. You might look at that video the wrong way. And I had a feeling there was a story there, and there was. So the guy's name is Jay Barron. He says to me, he goes, do you remember the night I met you? And I said, I don't. He goes, you were driving the Gunther Works. And you came, you were having a birthday party for your son, Jack, at this restaurant, Beach Street Pizza in the Palisades. And you sat next to us and we struck up a conversation. I go, I remember this whole night. And he has 2 little kids and he was looking at Jack and all his friends were at a big table eating pizza. And he was saying, he goes, that's what I hope our future in the Palisades here is. This kid, he's got all his friends, they're Pali High kids, and they're having this great night. And their little kids go to the Pali Elementary School. And we had this great chat with you and Erica. And we had just moved here from Australia. We're hearing about the West Side. And he goes, if you'll recall, he goes, I was obsessed with the 911 ST. And I go, I remember the entire conversation. So listen to this guy's story. He grew up in Australia with no money. His mom took them to school in a Ford Laser. Do you know what a green Ford Laser is?
No, that's an Australian edition of a Ford?
I guess.
I know a Plymouth Laser. Yeah, they have a lot of
Weird things down there.
Ford and GM have their own. Well, Holden, they have their own stuff.
So
down there.
he's a working class guy. He doesn't have money. He's like, we were made fun of every day in the green Ford Laser going to school, right? So in his mind when he's a kid, he's like, I am someday going to get a car.
This is very relatable.
Isn't this a good story? So he decides, how do I get out of this situation, Zuckerman? Much like you and I. How do we get out of our neighborhoods? How do we get out of our situations and make something of ourselves? So he starts a company in his parents' garage called Pedal Mafia.
Pedal Mafia.
Cycling apparel. All the stuff, the pants that drive you crazy, that you hate.
That I hate. That
But he
shit.
kind of,
There's money in it.
Pedal Mafia evolves it and turns it into something cool, and it's the cycling world. It's still not something you would like, but
Cod
for cyclists,
pieces,
it's good.
Bicycle cod pieces.
That's right.
Okay, he made it, but
Through community and word of mouth in the cycling community, the thing takes off. It gets huge, and it starts to get so big, he's now able to move to Los Angeles, which he does. He's not able to live in the Palisades, but he moves to LA. And a few years in, that's 2019. He gets here just in time for COVID, by the way. gets to his dream location just in time for COVID.
Timing is everything.
Gets through COVID. The company still is getting bigger and bigger, and they're able to buy their dream house in the Palisades, which is what you were just looking at. Their dream house in the Palisades. They get their kids into public school. They're having their dream life, he and their wife. So 10 years in, just recently, maybe a year ago, I guess, when they were putting out allocations, one of his colleagues says, look at all you've done. You've done this for 10 years. You're making tons of money. You don't really ever get anything for yourself. What do you want? He says, it's this ST I've been reading about, but I have no connection to the Porsche community. I know some of the folks from the Palisades here, but no one's going to give me an allocation. And this friend of his knows a guy in the 918 program, or he is in the 918 program, goes, I'm giving you my allocation, and hands him the allocation, and he gets that car. And that car becomes this symbol of everything he's achieved. It's the thing, it's the escape from Australia, the escape from the mint green Ford, whatever that thing was. Laser.
What is a laser?
It's a Mazda. It's a 323.
And it represents his success. Like, it really is this monument to what he's accomplished in his life. And finally, after getting his family settled, and he goes, my wife bought a lot of crap, but I never did. This was something for me. He gets his family, he was at work, he comes home, he gets his family out. They evac to Venice. He was like me, so was the wife. Everything's going to be fine. He takes nothing. She takes something really strange here. She took her LED face mask, which Erica Ferriston did too.
What?
And her teapot, which Erica Ferriston did too.
It keeps you young.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Magic.
Sure. Yeah.
And then a few hours later, his friend calls him up and goes, have you looked at your ring cams? And he goes, why? And he turns on his ring cam. He sees his neighbor's house on fire. And he goes, oh, fuck. And his friend goes, this is the guy who needs the medal. Did you get the ST out?
Right.
And he goes, well, no, I just got my family out. He goes, get back here. I'll help you get the ST out. That's the video we just saw.
Right. Nice.
And he gets it out. It smells like smoke. And he doesn't give a fuck. He's got his thing out. His family is safe. Isn't that a remarkable story?
And where is the car now? Does he need us to maybe get it over here
Store
and get it
long term?
We can get it deodorized.
He's got it at Auto Concierge. He has a
good.
friend at Auto Concierge that took care of him, and is getting the car set.
That guy, what's that guy's name? Scott?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it is Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, they can deodorize that.
But he,
Yeah.
But how about that for context for that story? Isn't that a great Porsche story?
It's great. But I love how everyone on the internet was like, see, he abandoned his Tesla. It's like, yeah, a used Model Y is worth $29,000. A used ST is $500,000.
I think
if I was driving through flames, and I would not want to be in a lithium battery car.
I would, because they seal the battery for fireproofing, a gas tank. The fuel lines are rubber.
You've seen Teslas catch on fire.
I've seen gas cars catch on fire. They're
but
they're
they
real.
But
bad.
they can put the gas cars.
Yeah, they
out.
don't go out. They don't go out.
Again,
You can't put water on lithium, right?
So again, the battery is in a fireproof container.
Then how come those things catch on fire?
They catch on fire at it's such a lower rate than there's 121,000 gasoline fires a year in
we should
cars.
show Johnny the footage of the fireproof safes. I've seen it completely destroyed with everything in it.
With this kind of mentation.
Sorry to have facts, but anyways, there's way more.
You wonder how the Lieberman line made it these 80
I don't even
Liebermans
know.
back to the time of Christ.
So in other words, if you had a blowtorch and you put it against not the inside where the lithium is, but the case, the steel case
I don't
that
know.
the battery's in, or a gas tank, boy, you want to be flaming against the battery case.
I might agree with Johnny there, but I would also, like you, once these electric cars catch fire, I don't want to be anywhere near them.
But you also don't want to be near a gas car on fire. Like, they're horrible.
But that's it's so fun. They smell better. It just feels like an easier fire.
Okay.
Lithium doesn't go out. That's the problem I have.
Yeah. Let's talk about RaceDeck.
That's the problem I have.
Over 2 decades ago,
You have a lot of other.
that's his only problem.
My only problem. Lithium doesn't go out, no.
That's fair. That's fair. Accurate.
RaceDeck is a cost-effective, durable, truly do-it-yourself modular flooring system engineered for the garage. RaceDeck's multi-patented design allows for easy do-it-yourself instruction without all the hassles and mess of toxic epoxy coatings. Look at that, where you have the sight right up there. Who's the bald guy?
He needs RaceDeck on his head.
Get some RaceDeck on his head. Well, he's got too much
got a lot of
RaceDeck.
RaceDeck.
Yeah, there you go.
Good hair.
Oh, this is their new ad. Your garage sucks, but it's better.
Now he's going to have hair.
This is really true, Zuckerman. This was like your garage, and then it was made better by RaceDeck. RaceDeck can handle vehicle rolling loads in excess of 80,000 pounds when not chip, peel, or stain. Over 33 patents with product line, 20 styles, countless even more color options. RaceDeck manufactures 24/7, ships most orders for 48 hours. What's he doing
They hit
now?
him in the head with it.
Yeah.
They hit the ball guy in the head.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you do. I think they should have a subtler, softer touch, though. Most of the time, you don't know your garage is as bad as it is, right? Did you know your garage was as bad as it was?
I knew it was a dump.
I didn't really think the RaceDeck would improve it as much as it did, but once that went in, you fixed up the rest of the garage, and then the whole thing's amazing.
In fact, I'm going to be enclosing the water heater and even further improving
Look at that.
the aesthetics of my garage.
It's like
experience.
it's a series of dominoes that
Yes.
go down. Shop at racedeck.com and use code SPIKE911 for an exclusive 15% off and free shipping. SPIKE911, 15% off and free shipping.
I like how they bully the bald guy.
Yeah.
Can we talk to them about that? I'm a bald guy.
Let's look at some more of these cars since we're talking about burned out cars, because I find it kind of interesting. There was a story on The Drive and a couple other places, but let's look at The Drive. I like their stuff. These are the vintage cars that survived the California fires. They're alleging because they're made of steel, not plastic.
I would point to Zuckerman's 2018 Porsche Carrera S that didn't burn as like a refutation of the clickbait headline.
I think we can all agree with that. How about that? We all agree on this one. But I just think it's somewhat beautiful and dark, these photographs. I mean, let's look at. I don't know what we're looking at here.
That was a Plymouth, and that's a car that never should have survived in the first place. A four-door Plymouth from the late 50s that is still on this earth is a miracle to begin with.
But aren't these pictures?
Yeah, great photography.
They're weirdly beautiful in the middle of this
Camaro.
They're weirdly beautiful in the middle of this devastating fire. I mean, they're weird art pieces of a sort, aren't
the
they?
AMC Hornet is, again, a car that how is it even getting to the fire? How is it still here?
Couldn't that one have burned up?
Yeah, that one shouldn't. That should have been in the crusher long ago.
The Corvair 95 van. It is the photographer that did it. I mean, right now it's too emotional to kind of look at these things and appreciate them. But I think 10 years from now, this is a very interesting piece of
absolutely
art, right?
The other thing, just real quick, man, cars used to be really cool colors. Now they're all black, white, and silver.
Yeah,
like,
and gray. Go down a little more. Go down. And white, by the way.
I said black, white, silver.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Look at
Chevy
that Cutlass, 76, 77 Cutlass.
Yeah.
Got a little bit crispy.
Oh, yeah, and the Beetle. The Beetle that takes the cake, though, is this next shot, this VW bus in the Palisades.
Oh, yeah.
That survived. Look at this shot.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It when I saw it on Instagram, it was like this little, you're so low through this whole thing. You're so low, you're hearing these horrible stories from your friends and you're seeing what happens. When I saw this, though, this really cheered me up for a few minutes.
Oh, it did? I had the opposite.
It's like the end of the Poseidon Adventure, where they start singing "There's Got to Be a Morning After" as they're pulling them out of the hull of the ship.
It's about our love of the vintage car hobby and the future of its survival. These roads that we do these drives on. I don't know. It just spoke to me in a very artistic way.
Artistic for sure. What popped into my head was like the phrase California dreaming, and then changed to California nightmare, where it's like,
that's true.
It's just, look at that devastation. Like, yeah, yay for the bus, but like, oh my God, those are all homes and a school in the background.
No, you're not wrong.
Ruined so many lives.
There's just I'm just saying there's also a dark fascination with it. Look at that. There's this other guy on Instagram, Medication is his name. He was posting videos of cars
Here's a
destroyed.
Porsche 911. It's a Carrera S. And I know because of these lobster claw wheels. These right here. So it's a 911 Carrera S, 997
Look at that wheel.
Carrera S.
Melted.
Different colors.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the sunroof burned through and fell in.
Wow.
And everything else is gone. Everything's gone.
It's wild, huh, Zuckerman?
Windows blown out, everything's gone.
I mean, it's dark, it's sad, but it's fascinating to see what fire does to a car. He had another one, a G-Wagon up there. Check this out.
Look at this. It's a Mercedes G-Wagon. And it's gone. Look at that.
What's inside the
Steering wheel's
G-Wagon
supposed
seats
to be
there?
over there.
Oh, yeah.
Just frames.
Just
metal frames. I mean, again, to go back to the thing about being made of plastic, like the G-Wagon has more steel in it than every car we just saw. It's all steel. So they everything, the insides burn, the fuel burns. Those cars got.
I don't know. I kind of thought the G-Wagon would do a little better, but
Not a fire like that.
Dude, fire just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Just fire doesn't care.
Yeah. It's scary stuff.
You know, I want to make a comment about these fires. We concentrate.
You can just make it.
We concentrate on the houses, but each one of these houses had people that worked at these houses.
Oh,
right. The silent victims. These were people's homes, but to other people, they represented livelihoods. If you were the gardener, or you were the pool guy, or you were, the cleaning lady or the nanny. So there are so many people that depended upon these intact homes that don't get a lot of recognition. That the house gets the recognition, the homeowners gets the recognition. All those other people that were in the ecosystem and the economy of keeping these houses clean, neat, tended to, they're really screwed.
so our yard got hosed by the wind. It's just leaves and plants and everything everywhere. And our gardener didn't come, so I called him like, hey, he's like, oh, my house burnt down. I go, what? He goes, yeah, all my gardening stuff was in the house, all gone. And I was like, oh, you gonna get more gardening stuff? Like, I don't know. So now I gotta. It's
But why don't we talk to your gardener, see what we can do to help him get his gardening supplies?
Yeah, no, trust me, that's underway. But what I'm saying is, like, it's to your point, it's like literally everyone is affected by this.
Yeah.
It's
The
crazy.
firefighters who were in my driveway that I posted about, one of their guys lost their house.
Yeah.
They're fighting fires.
Yeah.
Without a house, a couple of these
I have a
guys.
friend who's got like Zuckerman's got a spare house, and he's got it stuffed with firemen that lost their homes during the fire.
Well, all right, it's tax time, and there are many tax changes coming this year, and income tax brackets are expected to be adjusted for inflation. While the exact figures haven't been finalized yet, taxpayers can generally anticipate slight increases in income thresholds for each bracket, but you don't have to sort through these changes on your own. If you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, do not wait for the IRS letter to act. Zuckerman does, but you won't have the stomach for it. Waiting to get caught makes you look like a tax evader, and it will not end well. You just laugh.
Well, that means, yes, waiting to get caught. You are a tax evader. It doesn't make you look like it. You are.
Getting ahead of this is a smart move, but never contact the IRS alone. Turn it over to Tax Network USA. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. First, Tax Network USA has a strong relationship with the IRS. Second, they have a preferred direct line to the IRS. Why is that important to you? Because they know which agents to deal with and which to avoid.
Oh,
You know which agent to avoid?
the guy who wants your money?
Larry. And third, their genius strategies are designed to quickly settle your tax problems in your favor, whether you owe $10,000, $10 million. God, their attorneys.
If you owe $10 million,
You're in trouble.
Maybe don't listen to Spike's Car Radio for tax advice.
Our audience does sometimes owe $10 million. We have a very wealthy audience. Their attorneys and negotiators have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Stop looking over your shoulder. Put your IRS troubles behind you. Call to action. Call 1-800-958-1000. 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/spike911. That's tnusa.com/spike911. It's right there up on the screen. And they're going to help you out.
I really want, whoever wrote that copy,
Yes.
I want them to write my law firm ad.
Okay.
Their geniuses are going to help you out. They've got a direct line to the money.
Instead of their schmuckos, they're gonna
They've got a direct line to the right people and the
Look,
wrong
let's
people.
say, Zuckerman, let's say I owe $10 million to the government right now, okay? Could you call them up and negotiate that down? Is
If
that
you
even
owe-
possible?
Yes. Okay, there are ways that one proposes a settlement with the IRS. There are ways, and obviously the IRS wants money, Ferris. So you owe $10 million, they owe $10 million, and you call up and say, look, this guy, he's got $7 million today. Will you take it? They might just take it.
I see.
And I don't know. It's not so different than any form of negotiation. And I do wonder to categorize people as geniuses. They might be clever. They might be diligent. But what is genius?
Tax Network. They
are geniuses.
They have checked how smart they are. They have checked them. They know where they land on the intelligence scale. They are literal geniuses.
That's as I said, you take an Einstein, you drop him on his head.
Einstein?
An Einstein.
Yes. Hey, you're taking an Einstein.
You take an Einstein.
From Parnassus.
You drop him on his head.
Right.
No more theory of relativity, but he's working at the tax network.
He is. They are.
He's resolving your tax problems.
I think what they're saying is they're geniuses at taxes. Not geniuses in real life. They may be morons in real life, but at taxes, they're better than anybody.
Oh, I want them to write my ad. Zuckerman is a genius. He will get you money.
Well, that's a PR department, but we'll have them do that for you. They're geniuses at PI. That describes you. You're a genius at PI, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the rest of your life is a mess.
Really? That's 100% true.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree with that.
Hey, I'm the same way. I know a little thing to do. That's it.
I know what to do, and then when I'm not doing it, I'm thinking about how can we have a Hitler casting? We need our own personal Hitler, and it was pointed out it was Depeche Mode, not REM,
Right.
That did my own personal
Jesus, right?
Yes.
Anyway, we have a car behind us to talk about.
do?
I haven't seen it in frame, but we have a new car to talk about. Let's talk about it. When we picked this date, Zuckerman, we did not know all of this would be going on, and in the middle of the craziness, our 911 ST got delivered, and we picked it up this week. We had to go get it, and there it is.
Wow.
Shore blue. The thinking being this is a first year color. Let's not do paint to sample. Let's do a first year color. It's got the heritage package there, but we decided not to do a meatball.
Thank God.
Thank God.
For obvious reasons.
Thank God.
Even though I love meatballs.
Not on this car.
Not on this car. Look, we agree
God.
for the second time in one episode.
Write it in the book.
I'm leaving.
Write it down.
And we did the interior that is based on the Seinfeld, what is that? The Tony Hatter car. The
That's
Tony
right.
Hatter 356. What else did we do to this car? We have a lift kit in it, Zuckerman?
I think we did the ceramic brake calipers in black instead of
Correct.
yellow.
That's right.
Oh, nice.
We did, of course, comfort seats because it's a touring car, not just because of Zuckerman, but because it's a touring car. Why don't you go have a look
Did you
inside?
paint that lower grill? That's standard, yeah?
Yeah, it's standard there. Larry just chimed in from behind us. Larry is from Porsche Clearwater. He's
and not on
sitting
mic.
off to the side. Richard can shoot him right there. Go ahead, Richard. Put a camera on Larry. There's our interior. No.
Your camera.
Yeah, your camera. You almost took the camera off our show.
Sorry.
Just hold it right there. Good work, Richard. Here's the interior of the car. Pretty.
So good, guys.
It's the kind of the spec that they did. It was the spec of the press car, and to me, it was perfect the way it is. Hey, if you can, Cameron, can you go around to the other side and see? I don't think Zuckerman maybe Zuckerman did, but I don't think we know what number it is. Yeah, zoom in on that little gold badge right above the glove, right there. That's what we all want to see.
1498 out of 1963.
There it is. Hold right there.
Later build.
1498 of 1963. Wow, that's so cool. As custom has it, Zuckerman drove it from the Porsche Experience Center first and has been in it, and he's going to tell us about it.
And they even let me drive it through the doors, right? Which is probably not permissible to be the guy that drives it out of the building.
Ixnay, because if you wreck a car on a lot, that's a
Yeah.
I've had to pay
Wow.
that deductible.
I have that shot. Maybe we can show that shot a little later.
Larry, is that still?
But look, there it is. He's driving out the doors. And that's Andrew and Charles, who always show us a terrific time when we go there.
I love those guys.
They're
They're
so
great.
much fun,
They're
right?
So much fun.
Bag of BlueChew.
Paint to sample.
M&M's.
Shore blue M&Ms. Where the
Yeah.
hell do they find those? Where do they get
It
those?
seems to be a very different color.
Yeah, it does.
Do you think they sprayed them in the paint shop? Because I
Yes.
ate some of those.
I have no idea. We didn't have time to do any of the driving, nor did we feel like it because I was evac and you were busy. So we're going to go back there and hang out with those guys and do that stuff. And it did. Look, I'll admit, it felt awkward to be picking this up right now when in with everything
Time
that's
is a
happening.
little
but-
off, celebrating during misery is not really
Yeah,
appropriate.
but there's nothing we could do about that. The car got delivered. We had ordered it years ago, and here it is, and we just want to share it with you guys. So, Zuckerman, what do you think?
I love this car.
You haven't really driven one yet.
absolutely love this car. When I don't like a car,
Yeah.
or it just doesn't. I don't cotton with it. Like the GT4 RS, I drove 2 times. It was great, whatever. The GT3 RS, great, whatever.
For the record, I loved both of those things.
For the
a lot.
record, for the record.
For the record.
Porsche.
I freaked out.
Honestly,
I still missed them.
I
But
know.
yes.
I'm going to say,
But
that
you didn't. But the way you drive and how you're using cars right now, you're going back and forth to work. Those cars didn't exactly fit into that type
They
of driving.
didn't fit in, and,
That's
and,
right.
and for
That's
whatever reason, they weren't calling me to drive them.
right.
When I want to drive a car, I want to drive this car.
Yeah.
I want to drive this car. I like this car so much.
What was the drive home like?
I liquefied the Harbor Freeway and then the 10 freeway. I was driving unintentionally, mind you, so fast and going through the gears. And there were people pulling up to me, big thumbs up. It was getting a lot of love on the 110. And it drives so well. It handles so well. The chassis is so good. The steering is so good. The engine is so responsive. Everything. It always amazes me that Porsche can make these 911s each have distinctive personalities
Craziest
and
thing, right?
characteristics.
Yeah. So
They're
wild.
so different, and I believe this is how every 911 should be. And for the average person, they should have this car with a little more sound deadening. But this reminds me so much of the R, and this reminds me so much of my first GT3 997. This really gets the direct line to the essence of what a 911 GT car should be.
Yeah.
If we go through the stats on this car, it just is over 3,000 pounds, which in 2025 is an achievement to be just over. Wouldn't you say, Lieberman?
Yeah, I mean it's
3,000.
very hard to get a car under 3,700 pounds these days with any kind of crash.
I think this is what, 3,100 pounds?
32, but it's the same as the red Toyota.
Right.
It's very light for a modern
It's
car.
very light. It feels very light. 518 horsepower and a really, really, really tight shifter. Okay. You've got to know that shifter. That shifter wants to go to its center point. If you go straight forward, you're going to be in third. You got to give a little pressure to the left to go into first. You've got to operate it. You've got to drive this
best
car.
manual transmission on earth.
You know what?
Bar
Do
none.
you remember what Charles said? He goes, when you turn this on and you push in the clutch, you're going to hear a sound.
Yeah.
Just know that's not a defect. That's
Right.
the flywheel.
It's the lightweight flywheel.
Lightweight flywheel, right. He goes, because customers were saying the first time they got in it, we think it's broken.
Yeah, the rattle.
Yeah. And they sent a tech from Germany to come check the problem.
I found the problem. Americans are stupid.
Exactly right. Can you believe that?
Wow.
So they warn everybody who's got an ST now, that's the car. That's what it is. But it's not the first GT car that's done that by a long shot.
No, the 4.0 rattled
Exactly
that
right.
way.
Yeah.
Really rattled that way.
Yes.
The R rattled
Yes.
that way.
I got to drive the press car, which is very similar spec, with my buddy's 911R. And it was interesting because going into it, you would think like, oh, the R is going to have the crazier engine.
Right.
And this will handle better. It was the opposite, where because this doesn't have 4-wheel steering, they went back to just 2-wheel steering. The steering's slower. It's more old school, more analog, if you will. But the engine on this, it's just such an animal. It's such a, again, it only gained, I don't know, either I can't remember if it was 18 or 35 horsepower compared to the R, but it's just such a better engine. It
Yeah,
just sounds
yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
It is
Such a cool car.
This car, this may be our keeper of the 992.
Well, that was always the plan, Zuckerman.
Yes.
If you'll recall, it was a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme with the Porsche Clearwater guys.
Larry over there.
Larry over there.
Look at that face.
Look at Larry.
What a face.
The plan was to move through these cars and to sell these cars and then get to and here we are now. This 911T, we had to pay the lease up front and it was largely paid for a year. So so the way this deal works is you have to lease it from Porsche, you get to buy it at the end of a year and you have to pay that lease up front. It's a decent amount of money, which we've now paid with proceeds from the GT3 RS. And we're in this car right now for no payments right now for 12 months. At the end of that 12 months,
We're going to suffer.
we buy it. We buy it outright, or we can, I think, sell it at that point if we wanted to. But
Or release it or do something with it.
But I'm just talking about the terms of the deal, just so people understand the way the ST deals work.
Right,
But
because you can't flip these. It's
can't-
very hard to flip them.
Right. Nor would we want to. So, I'm for the next year. This is our
such a
car.
winner. But we made the plan, right? We made the plan. I agree, we made the plan. But a car shows up, and you don't know when the car shows up if your plan, if your intentions are going to meet reality. There could be a gulf between the plan and the reality.
Yeah.
This time, nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And you're gonna love driving this car. I'm gonna love driving this car. My partner Robert saw it in the garage, lost his mind.
That's great.
I drove it to breakfast this morning. Our friend Trevor saw it. He lost his mind. Everybody loses their mind over this car. I'm really, really happy with this car. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
And we wish you luck with your future career.
And Mike O'Donnell, of course, Larry's boss, who couldn't be here from Porsche Clearwater. We love those guys, and they take care of us. And look, I don't want to ruin the party, but there's a GT2 RS on the way, I'm guessing, too. So,
well, I'm going to live forever and make money forever. I mean, whatever.
Anyway, there it is, the 911 ST. All right, well, Cameron's coming back. We'll read an ad. It's a brand new year, and we're all setting goals and actually hitting them. That's why I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, Huel. Huel, the global complete nutrition brand tested by millions. You drank some Huel, didn't you, Johnny?
Look how big I am now.
Their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete meal in a bottle. Guess what I was drinking while I was evacuated? Huel. I loaded it up. I'm not lying. I went back to the house and I have it because it was so easy to put in my bag and take, and I love it. High in protein, low in sugar, nice chocolatey taste. Those. It's for me, it's just an easy way to eat. A few weeks ago, it was just when I was playing tennis or going to work out. Now it's when you're evacuating the worst fire California's ever had. Huel Black Edition was there for me. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal for your most inconvenient meals with no prep. That's for sure. They taste good, chocolate or vanilla. It's incredibly affordable. And like I said, my personal favorite is this Black Edition ready to drink. But they have lots of stuff for you to try, including big bags of protein. I think I gave one to Cameron, right? Did you get into that, Huel?
Oh, it's delicious. I use it every day.
You are using it?
Yeah.
Before or after the workout?
After
the workout. That's exactly right. To add some protein to your weightlifting, right? Don't believe me? Take the leap and join the community of Hueligans. Look at that guy.
Yeah, he looks healthy.
You will look like him after your first shake.
Or Idris Elba.
Well, take the leap and join the community of Hueligans with this exclusive offer for new customers of 15% plus a free gift with code SPIKE911 at Huel.com. That's HUEL.com and code SPIKE911. Start your year off strong. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. We love you, Huel, and welcome to Spike's Car Radio. Why don't we check in with Jerry's auction? Jerry's 917 is going up, as we discussed.
So how much is what's the estimate on Jerry's 917?
Good question.
Gulf livery.
That's a good question. I actually don't know what that
I think I
estimate
do.
is.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I've heard it maybe not the official estimate.
What's the official estimate?
I don't know the official. I know that they did a little video shoot with Bruce Canepa, who said that he thought it was 25.
Yeah, 25 is what I've heard. And Bruce has a kind of a matching one, slightly different. He's got the Daytona one.
What lot are they on right now?
Like
160. It's on commercial.
160.
Oh, I just got back. 163.
And we're
240,
237.
230.
Have you ever driven a car like that, Lieberman?
We call those we call those dentist flingers because when you catch the wheel, it flicks the driver out, and there are all these great shots of guys being flicked out of them like this, going around a turn.
Those are like old Indy cars. No, I've never driven those.
Yeah, they're super dangerous, but they're beautiful. And the pictures used to be all over Sports Car Market, just of a dentist getting flung out of it onto the grass.
Do you know what Jerry bought the car for?
Yeah.
Can you say it out loud?
No, probably not.
We've said it before.
Is he going to make some money?
Did we say it before?
Yeah, we've said it 10 times on the show.
What did we say? Go ahead.
It was slightly over $1 million, like $1.25 million.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. But at that time, that was an insane amount of money to spend on
For
a
an
car.
old race car. Yeah.
Not only for an old race car, for a car.
Anything.
Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective, in like I was thinking about buying a GTO. I didn't want to buy a house when I was working on Seinfeld and I was making money. And I was like, all right, why don't I buy this Ferrari GTO? The GTO was
250 GTO?
a 250 GTO was $840,000 at that point, and it was an insane amount of money for a car.
Oh, yeah.
And you just couldn't even in my craziest moment, I couldn't see doing it.
It's like Leno, with his McLaren. It was $1 million was the price, and he said no.
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
called
yeah.
him back to like, we can't sell it. We'll give it to you for $800.
Yeah.
and Jay's like, all right. And now it's
You just never thought you knew.
No one thought.
You knew these cars were going up incrementally, but I bought that 7911S for $50,000. It was the highest price anybody had ever paid for a 7911S Porsche, and it had 6,000 original miles on it. And it felt scary as shit spending that money on it, right? So you just never knew. So when I showed Jerry that car, we were looking at the money and we were just like, that is a lot of money. But if anybody can afford to lose $1 million,
It's you.
and you got this. But honestly, Jerry's biggest hesitation was this car is so important and so meaningful to the car community. Why should I have it? Why me? That's really what he said, and that's really what he wrestled with.
But then he got over that.
It took him a while, and I think that's where Sam talked to him and reminded him like what Sam and Jerry had accomplished as collectors and where their collection was going, and Jerry sort of looked at it. I think I remember him thinking it was a caretaker role for the car. Like, I'll take care of this thing. I'll bring it back to where it should be, and now we're at a point he's releasing it out to the world for someone else to take care of it, and that's always been, I think, his point of view with that car, his opinion. But, we can ask him when he comes back on the show.
Yeah.
A couple of little things here. 525 update. Good news, Zuckerman. You and I were in the car. You and I were in the Bronco going down to the Porsche Experience Center yesterday. And who calls but the Hungarian?
The Hungarian.
Hello. He didn't know I was in the car. I was trying to get an update on one of my motorcycles, and he goes, hey, is that guy's house still up? If it burned down, then I don't have to fix his motorcycle. And when I'm here, Hungarian, I'm here, and my house is okay, thankfully. Oh, I just didn't want to bother you.
Do you need me to burn it down?
Do you need me to burn it now? I don't do this.
But I know.
But I know, guy. He said that. Don't think he was joking. But when I told Jack that, he said, yeah, that's the Hungarian's whole gig is I know a guy. I know a guy who can do this. But he took the 525 into his BMW shop, which I didn't know he had.
He's not just BMW, but he's very familiar with BMW.
But he killed it. I gave him
Yes.
4 things, and I called you after, and I said, look, these 4 things are difficult. I love the Hungarian, but I don't know the Hungarian. But if you want me to look for a guy who can do this, and you said, Spike, just trust me, the Hungarian can do this.
If you look in the garage at all of these vintage BMWs, it is the Hungarian who is taking care
What
of
is your
them.
impression of the Hungarian when he breaks something in a car? That's what I was afraid of.
Did he fix the clock?
Well, here we go. The 4 things were the clock. When we talked about the clock on the show with the folks out there, lots of them wrote back and said, none of them work. They will never be fixed. The Hungarian fixed it.
Nice.
Not only did he fix it, it was just a loose wire, and he fixed it really quick. And he was able to take the clock out very easily without damaging any of the fascia. Is that the right word?
Right.
Or any of those plastic pieces. That was done.
Understand it doesn't keep time perfectly, but close. You'll have to adjust it. But
What?
This might put the BlueChew down.
he said that who we know that fixes clocks and speedos,
Yes.
taking it out and doing that would be, he said it would be better just to adjust, every couple of days, maybe a minute here or there.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's totally okay. We sent Cameron in there and he just took a shot of it. And that is the correct time for right now.
There you go.
There it is. Look, that's exactly the correct time. Wow, look at Cameron. How great is he that he can just do that? God, look at this car. God, I miss this car. Okay, the other thing was the glass.
The door.
The door glass, that's done.
I like how he says glue. Did you hear it?
Till I find part, I just glue.
Glue.
But now we're going to have to just
Glue.
be gentle. Someone in our lives is going to smash that door closed. We're going to forget to tell them. But
One of your kids.
No. They know. They were already doing it softly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the kids. It's going to be that blonde-haired thing that's running around my house.
The wrecker.
I love my wife. But she's not necessarily the most gentle with the car doors.
My wife once with my 997, she couldn't get the key in.
Yeah.
She put it in backwards and managed to get it all the way in. Do you know what kind of monkey strength? And she said to me, "I can't
Monkey
get the
strength.
key." It's like gorilla. I said, "What kind of what kind of a primate humper jammer are you?"
What? And did it break off? Did the metal break
I
off?
got it out, but she must have been putting so much body strength into it. 2 hands.
What were it?
I came out to the Rivian. It was parked up on our brakes, actually rolled up. The Rivian's got 2 backup cameras plus 2 other cameras that show you what the rear wheels do in reverse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Amy, get out here quick! You got to see this! You got to see this! And I showed her. She just turned around, and ran in, like, fuck you.
I got chrome wheels on the Tesla because they don't the dings don't show up as much as the blacks. That's the best I could do. I was just like, you know what? I don't see them as much in the silver, but on those black wheels, I see them all the time.
I have black wheels in both my cars.
It's not pretty.
We are
It's not
so
pretty.
generous with our wives when they do these things, aren't we?
I mean,
She just spilled a bunch of Doritos in Jack's car and left them in the car for the 11-day evacuation with the windows closed in the sun. So
That car's finished. Just toss that along with the bag right in the trash.
so there's no smoke damage, but there's Dorito damage.
my wife thinks I'm kidding. Like, I had to literally, they
Well,
sell.
if Ingram cuts this out, there's a potential insurance claim for smoke damage. And the guy's going to say it smells like Doritos. And you're going to say, yeah, like the dog's paw too. But
If Ingram, the editor back in Austin, cuts this out, which he's not going to, I'm leaving that in.
okay.
I'm not filing
I'm not
a claim
suggesting
for Dorito damage.
I'm not suggesting insurance for it.
No, I know you're not.
But I felt the biggest failure of my life. I had to buy. They make trash.
You're the
cans.
biggest failure of your
Oh,
life.
well, that's true too.
I can't
What am
believe
I
you let
doing
that
here?
one there.
I was just looking at him. There's been 80 generations.
I thought you would jump right in on that joke. You didn't jump in
I
on
was
that?
stunned at that comment. The
All right.
biggest failure?
They make because did you know they make trash cans for cars?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. But my wife just the Rivian, brand new, there's just trash constantly everywhere, food, straws, everything.
What is the
That's
car
him
trash can?
or her? That's Richard?
No, he's better. No. So they're to make a trash can for a car. So I on Amazon, I bought a trash can for my car. And you know what she does? She puts the trash next to the fucking trash can.
Oh, that's not good.
It's so bad.
That's so passive aggressive.
oh, it's just like
So what was the biggest failure? The marriage? Or what? I mean, I'm not understanding.
I would tell her, like, please, like just take your trash out of the car.
All right, let's get back to the 525.
And then I gave in.
There was a third thing. Not
There was
the
a
heat-
loose fan. There was a loose fan belt.
but
that
it wasn't the
making
fan
it-
belt. It was the engine manifold.
He says he fixed it. You may think you know. He said that he fixed whatever the noise was.
Okay, well that I'll have to check because it was coming from inside the manifold. It was a little chirpy sound, but maybe he fixed it.
He fixed it. And then I don't recall if
No,
there-
then I said, and I called you. I said, look, I don't know how a Euro spec 79 525 heat and cool system and fresh air system works, but I'm not able to get air through the front vents.
you're not able to get warm air through the front
warm air.
vents.
Correct.
And he was able to access one of his old Hungarian language workshop books on this car.
This is
And
true. He
this
said-
is
I heard him
true.
say this.
And he determined that this is the way the system works, that fresh air always comes through the center vent and I guess your solution is to close those vents, and
That's
the
right.
side vents are where the heat comes
Side
from.
and defrost.
Yeah.
That's
where
exactly
heat-
what I did, and it felt awkward, but it was working perfectly.
That's the system.
So that's 4 for 4. He did it. That's
Understand, was behind the
Ingram.
Understand, the Hungarian was behind the Iron Curtain, and he worked on all of these cars. How they came from west to east, we won't ask him. But these cars came, and he kept them alive back in the old country.
Yo ho, the tale of the Hungarian. Ingram can make a nice video of this. How these cars got across the border, we'll never know. How many people died at the Hungarians' hands?
And he was swimming through the sewers of East Berlin to come out, emerge, get the car, bring it back through.
Oh, catalytic
The Andy
converters.
Dufresne of BMW restoration.
Yes.
I would love to know the true history of the Hungarian and how he
A
got.
lot of bodies in force.
There's a lot of bodies.
There's-
a lot there.
There was a lot, and then he got here, he somehow escaped, and he was living in Agora. His first destination when he landed in the promised land was Agora.
What?
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Okay, that's very weird.
Yo ho, the Hungarian. I'm gonna have to get to work on that with Udio.
There you go.
And you have a car too, Johnny.
Yeah. So I know I just brought my Corolla, but this is the new 2025 Toyota properly pronounced.
Toyota.
But
yeah.
since we did that car last week,
Yeah, quick
update.
Yeah.
How is this one
2025? So they upped the torque, so now it has 295 pound-feet of torque. So that's what the Marizo had in 2023. There's only 500 of those made, so this now has that. All of them have that much torque. This one's an automatic. It's an 8-speed automatic, which actually shifts pretty quick. Dual zone climate control, which I would like that. And then the sad part is, and I got to drive the manual, but they changed quite a bit on the suspension, which I thought was perfect. That's why I bought the car. The auto is 45 pounds heavier and literally on the front axle because the transmission's heavier. So the turn-in to me doesn't feel as good. I haven't driven it very much yet. But they stiffened everything, and they added, on GT3 RS's, the last gen, the helper spring. So there was like a second set of mini dampers. This car has that. So supposedly at like very high speed maneuvers, it's real good. So it's
So
cool.
you're liking it. Do you feel regret that you don't? You know how when the new version of your car comes?
No, because the only thing was that dual zone climate, because my wife and I fight over, she's always freezing and I'm always boiling. No, I'm very, very happy with my car, especially with the tuning I'm doing. My default now is that Marizo tune. He loaded that on there, and I have like 4 different engine maps, and I'm making like way, 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 way more power. And I like how my car handles better. So it's a manual.
So there you go. How did people react to that video of your car from last week?
I only remember the assholes.
I thought there were a lot of positive comments.
Yeah,
about
but
it.
I just the ones like where I was trying to explain to you what the whole thing was. I said it was heavily modified. Everyone's like, it did 2 bolt-ons, dickhead.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I was so right now as we speak, I have wheels, tires, brakes, pads, brake lines, brake fluid, a clutch, a turbo, valve springs, camshafts, and a head gasket in the mail, motherfuckers. We're gonna tune the shit out of this.
But
fucker.
you didn't turn it into a Hot Wheels.
But it's just like
that's not even modified.
I just hate everyone more and more.
You read too many comments.
Can
You
we
gotta
go
stop
back
reading
to just
comments.
hating now that the fires are kind of it's 2 weeks ago? Can we
No.
go back to hating?
But
each
I
other?
suggest you don't read comments. Don't read comments. Just don't. You're giving air. Some of these guys are trolling you just for fun. They're trying to
Gets to you.
They're trying to get to
know
you.
it gets to you.
That's why we do it.
Yeah, exactly. You beat me to it. We told you, and you like it. You like it.
I like you.
Oh wait, what?
Good.
Hell,
I feel
he's way harder on you than I am.
No,
way harder.
No.
I would say maybe, but I think he's way harder than you.
No.
Yes.
No.
We lack insight as human beings, Ferriston. We lack self-awareness.
But
anyways, yes, people are very happy about the video.
let's talk about our favorite subject, BlueChew.
Yeah,
I have some Shore Blue BlueChew right here. Have better sex with BlueChew. BlueChew is the original brand offering chewable tablets. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. Get all bricked up! Yeah! BlueChew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. BlueChew tablets are made in the U.S. and prepared and shipped directly to your door. Look, they're testimonials. Braxton says, thank you so much for having such a reasonable price for your amazing product. Just wanted to give a shout out because it's impacted my sex drive with my girlfriend in the most positive way. Who else has it? Oh, look, Jonny Lieberman has one.
Oh, again?
I finally had sex with a woman at the ripe old age of 58, only to discover my penis did not work. Thank you, BlueChew, for fixing it. I look forward to several more years of sex.
You know, I'm 49.
That's really that's really
42.
brave of you.
That's brave of you to put that up there.
Yeah.
Well, anything for the show, guys.
Anyway, if you want to try BlueChew, now is the time. We have a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of BlueChew free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast.
And what will you have, Spike?
Mucho sexo.
Mucho sexo.
Yes, that's right. All right, we have some listener questions. We don't have a lot of time to deal with them, but let's look at them anyways, and we will answer them. When you're sharing a car with a partner or kids, how do you let go of your OCD car cleaning tendencies? Jack Snell wants to know. We did kind of discuss that.
Yeah, so I was laughing at. You don't.
I was able to negotiate with Erica the types of foods when the kids were little that they could eat in there and not eat. In an emphasis on no crunchy, crumbly things that would get all over the place and no baby foods that would leak all over the place. And just eat things that kind of generally stayed together when the kids were eating in the back. And that limited the damage.
So she stuck to it.
She did.
Because I said no yogurt when Richard was a baby. There's the back of the Rivian is like a pool of yogurt. It's just like
That's disrespectful, even. I think you need to have a talk.
the biggest fight my wife and I ever got into, ever in 15 years of marriage, was my old WRX, and I hadn't looked. It was her car, and I hadn't looked at it for like 3 months, and I was like, I handed her a $100 bill, and I'm just like, do something. Anyways.
When we share a car, we both keep cars tidy. We're both fastidious people. Yeah. We might have slightly different emphasis.
I look the other way when I see his dog in the car. Or the teas. He leaves teas in cars, too.
I do that a lot less now. I don't leave as many teas.
But they're sealed, and he's taking them with him, and he just forgets them. That stuff,
okay.
Fine. That's all fine.
It's trash.
But Zuckerman's intentions, I know them well. They're all good. Like, he would never cross certain lines. If he feels the dog can be in the car, then he's fine with it. Then I'm fine with it. Like that, because I know where he's not doing it because he's scatterbrained. Do you know what I mean?
I found a roast beef sandwich.
Oh my God.
That we had gone away and it was hot and the car's,
Yeah, I found four
sandwich.
Starbucks sandwiches and a half drunk matcha something. But I was
that
like, look.
permeates the car.
Yeah.
Things with milk products, things with coffee products.
Yeah.
Beef with,
it's bad.
And with mayo or whatever you put on a roast beef. I don't know.
Did you eat them?
Yeah, I ate it.
No, yeah, I know you did.
It was cooking for a week.
That dude Pasha wants to know, was Radamak one of the inmate firefighters that saved my home? Yes. As a matter of fact.
Yes.
He saved it with a pipe.
Yep. He beat the fire.
He stood in his fireman's coat in my driveway with his pipe, just banging it against his hand.
And then his head.
No, no one knows where Radamak is. He's out. And apparently he's recovered and he's not beating people with pipes, at least in LA.
For now.
So
He's off the trend.
Godspeed, Radamak, wherever you might be. Question for Z. This is Spare Change Multimedia. I got ripped off by a car restoration guy and shopped to the tune of $3,500, which I proved in small claims court. However, the guy won't pay. What are my options for enforcing the repayment?
Okay, it's been a while since I've tried to collect a small claims judgment, but there are legal mechanisms to collect, and you have to get your judgment. You have to serve your judgment by the sheriff on this guy, and then you have to probably do what's known as an ORAP in order to appear, and you get the judgment debtor to court, and you get to question the judgment debtor in court in front of a judge. You ask questions like, what's your bank account? What's your bank account number? And you then get to investigate what the judgment debtor's assets are so you can collect on them. And it's not easy, but you got to do it.
Is there a penalty? Does he get penalized?
There's interest. There's interest is 10%.
And it goes to the victim?
Now, assuming this is California, I'll tell whoever this guy is, DM me, and I'll give you what my recollection or general knowledge about how to do it and what to do and what to ask this guy to bring to court so that you can figure out where his money is and get it from him.
Zuckerman offering to help. For Jonny, Declan Casey, will the Rolex 24 actually be 24 hours this year? And are you going to make another appearance?
I'm not going to go. I'm going to be in Austria, I believe. And yeah, it was the 23 hours, 58 minutes of Rolex last year. And I think they heard enough about that it's definitely going to be 24 hours.
What are you doing in Austria? What are you looking for?
I'll be with Audi driving the new refreshed RS e-tron GT on ice, and then I'm going to the Fruity Porsches, the Fat Ice Race.
Oh yeah, there
Really?
you go. Yeah. We were invited.
Going with Polestar.
It's in Sweden, something.
No, that's
Switzerland.
This one's in. They're both in Austria.
Austria. I didn't think you wanted to go to Austria.
It's in Zell Sea.
Well, you know what I'd be looking for? We could continue our search.
In the ice for Hitler's penis.
Maybe it comes out
the
then.
way-
I don't know.
Rob Libert wants to know. I bought myself a 2020 F-Type. We were talking about that. After not thinking about Jaguar for 15 years. But the brand's rebrand was suddenly on my radar, and I started thinking about legacy cars. My questions are, why do you think the F-Type, which is a fantastic car, is never discussed? We discussed it 2 weeks ago. So there's your answer to that. Do you think Jaguar's branding brouhaha will create more interest in legacy cars or make people less interested? I think more interested. Definitely more interested. Don't you have more of an appreciation now for the vintage Jaguars and the F-Type? That's what we were talking about during those rebrand shows. The F-Type is, go get one. They're fantastic cars. And you know, that rebrand brought Jaguar right into the, we started thinking about the brand for the first time. And I think a lot of people are looking back at those cars. And I think you're smart to go back and buy one of those F-Types because they're cheap. They sound great and they work right. They're just beautiful, beautiful things.
The F-Type's problem was always that, you know, if you put it in a comparison test, it's going to lose to a 911. It's going to lose to the AMG GT. It's going to lose to whatever you put it up against. Because what do you do in a comparison test? You drive it as hard as you can, and it's the least capable sporty thing. However, what most people do is they drive to work in their sports cars. So it makes an incredible noise. It's 550 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive, so you can use it where it snows. And they're beautiful. It's an Ian Callum design. I would say, forget the 2020s. Go back to the 2014 to 2019 before they got fat on the refresh. They're just gorgeous.
Ross Blavine. Jonny drives a Rivian. Spike has the Bronco. What is Zuckerman's choice of fleeing wildfires? What car is Zuckerman's choice?
You know, I drove the 82 Range Rover, which isn't here.
Yeah, but did you flee the Malibu fires?
I didn't flee anything. So just driving around in town, I was driving the 82. I drove my...
The 82 Range Rover.
The 82 Range Rover. I drove the E28 M5 a little bit, and I drove the 53 bent window. But I wasn't in anywhere that I felt that I needed to have the most dependable, safest, rugged car.
What about back in 2018? What'd you flee with?
When that happened, I was at the office, and I didn't believe anything was going to happen. So I was just in town when the whole thing went down.
What'd your wife flee in?
You know, I don't remember what we had back then, but she had a sport utility vehicle, some kind of a truck.
What an
Well,
Johnny, I would never do that to you.
You would never do that.
And yet you like him more.
I didn't say
he
that.
Just sneezed on you.
why I didn't turn the other way?
Cruel.
I don't even understand that.
He literally sneezed.
He just sneezed on you.
I can't even explain
turning my
my
back.
choice of sneeze direction.
And yet you think I give you a harder time? Have I ever sneezed on you?
A harder time.
Have I ever? I just don't like being. I just don't like being interrupted when I'm talking. But I don't sneeze on you.
Mine was not intentional.
I never urinate on you.
mine was
just
mine
the
was
interruption,
accidental.
That's one thing. It's more than that.
It's
It's
the
not
scolding,
more than that.
Ferris, than the scolding.
Well, I don't know how to shut him up. I mean, he can read the comments all he wants. I'm being serious. I mean, people want to talk. They want something to say in a podcast.
He's no longer worried about the sneezing.
Could you sneeze on me again?
Yeah.
No, I know, and he
I'm in a
shuts
bad
up.
mood.
But if he read the comments, he'd say, "Yeah, stop interrupting.
I'll sneeze again.
Stop interrupting.
sneeze
You'll
on
have
my
time to
face,
talk.
man.
You'll have time to say something."
Do you have any shit on you now?
Yeah, he's
boogers on
got COVID on him. Zach Hatterstein, as a tennis fan, they want to know the latest on the doping scandal. My take on it. Well, not latest because it's center. And honestly, I can't figure it out. It sounds to me like everybody is doping, and some of the players are cool with it, some aren't, and I don't care. I
I
just
think they
don't
should
care.
have an all dope league.
They do.
Take as much
That's
as you
called
want.
the ATP.
No. Literally, there's a new like Olympics coming out called the Enhanced Games.
Yeah.
where
That's
just
interesting.
take whatever you want. And
Is that true? Cameron Googled it.
yeah, it's true. The
I
Enhanced Games.
don't think that's true.
Gee, is there anyone
let's
here who
check
pays
this.
attention to strength sports?
All right, the enhanced
perfect
games.
in tablets.
Put up the browser on our screen so we can look and see what you
The
pull up
Enhanced
there.
Games. It's happening.
Well, my only point is right now professional sports is already the enhanced games. There it is. Johnny's right.
Yeah.
The future is enhanced. So this is what?
It's just Olympic events, but they
Take as much shit as you
take.
want.
Well, it's not that it's actually interesting. So they test all the athletes, and if they're like so doped up that they will drop dead, they don't let them compete. So you have to dope the right way.
No. Again, then we're getting into subjectivity. Let these people take whatever they want.
Well,
let them go crazy.
keep going,
And
Medical
rolls go down.
profiling for safer games.
I love this.
Yeah, no,
So
it's a real thing.
I think
it's
it's a free for all.
state of art, cardiac imaging and heart. So this is, we're going to let you be athletes. We're going to let you dope, and we're going to see how far we can take the human being.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting idea.
Yeah. So
As long as it doesn't turn out like that weird guy who's trying to keep himself young, that weird millionaire guy who took his son's body parts. And,
the blood.
yeah, he's gross.
Yeah,
he's got a Netflix
Brian
thing.
Johnson,
You
yeah,
can't
he's-
even look at him. He's just
He's
gross
a freak.
Yeah.
to behold. And I don't mind saying that publicly.
So, anyways, yes, enhanced game.
Maybe
Very
he
exciting.
should be the guy that hosts those games, though. And I don't mind saying that publicly.
The game's open with him ripping cars. Farrah bending a frying pan.
How about the game opens with him ripping his own skin off, and he has more skin underneath?
It's
Look,
his son.
I'm even younger. I'm like an onion.
He snaps his son in half and just drinks him and eats him.
Yeah, that's an opening for the
Kronos
enhanced
eating
games.
the Titans or the gods.
I think that's our show, John.
Yeah, that's definitely the show.
I made it a little long because we have so much to cut out. So that's why it says an hour 32 right
No,
there. It
no
ain't going to
way.
be an hour and 32. It ain't
No
going to
way.
be an hour and 32.
And make sure you upload it, then upload it again for like whatever little tiny reason, so that the entire internet can get set on fire.
I think Cameron can
Yeah.
attest to the fact that how much yelling I did at our crew in Austin
Oh, yeah?
for doing that.
Oh,
It turned out it all had to be done because it was a disclaimer for one of the ads.
Sure.
That it's the weird part of the Acorn. You know, Acorn Finance.
Yeah.
You know how when you hear a finance ad, you have to hear that we didn't put that in, and without that, we were potentially having an FTC violation. So there was a 3-alarm fire. I was puking into a bucket and all over Zuckerman's apartment. I had
Perfect.
norovirus in the middle of the evacuation.
Excellent.
Thank you. I'm fine.
Yes.
I lost a lot of weight. It was very unpleasant. And the guys in Austin took care of it. They actually did a great job. I'm only kidding. But that'll never happen again.
there was a great roadkill episode where they went to some junkyard in, I don't know, Oklahoma, and the dude had like all kinds of neo-Nazi shit all over his arm, and like no one knew what it meant. It was like, 88 and like
Right.
14 and all that stuff, but it made it through to air, and then they had to like pull it down.
Oh, that's horrible.
was
Before we go,
fantastic.
let's take one look
so good.
at Mecum, see where we're at. Oh, no. Where are we at? 186. All right, well, we'll get
but
to
look
watch
at that.
this at home.
A Zur convertible. Now we're talking.
We will watch the Seinfeld auction at home. That's our show for today. Don't forget, if you want to help out folks affected by the fire, there were lower thirds during the show that you can go back and you can check out. Also, Sheffield, for the entire month of January, is donating 10% of proceeds. There's one right there, to charities that help people out and folks that have been displaced and no longer have homes and need help. So there it is. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.